This is Beatwalla, serving up the stories behind the beats and taking you straight to the soul of exceptional artists, as we sit down every week to unravel what fuels their artistic expression and creation, here on Beatwalla, with me, Jo Yule. Welcome back to Beatwalla with me, Jo Yule. And today's guest is a self-taught virtuoso with an unmatched sensitivity as one of the most subtle producers of techno and deep house. The landscapes of the Baltic Sea shaped the character and sound of Christian Löffler's music, who was born in northern Germany. His compositions brim with deep nostalgia, whilst his percussive basses guide emotional melodies and vocal loops. And he himself has said he may never make a happy song, ever. That was, perhaps, until Roused came out, the very first track from his new album. The song features Malou, and it's the first track to be taken from A Life, which is the name of the next record, which is coming out in April. Christian, welcome to the Beatwalla.
Thank you so much for the great intro.
Well, thank you so much for being here at the Standard.
My pleasure.
Here on the old town of Ibiza, which is, of course, a World UNESCO Heritage Site. Have you been out and about and enjoyed the fruits of the island since
Yes,
you've been
absolutely. Here? I mean, I've just been here for a few days, but I absolutely enjoyed it. Not only the weather, but also it's like a great vibe. It's still there, and you can feel the spirit of Ibiza. I love it. It's nice, especially in winter time, since it's almost nobody here and you get the full attention from the island. It's great.
Ibiza in winter is one of the world's best kept secrets, I think. It's not something
Probably
we should share.
is, yeah. Yeah, it's great. I love it.
Apart from on a podcast. Other than that, it's fine.
That's totally fine.
How does your body react when it sees such glorious sunshine? Does it sort of just like go into this photosynthesizing mode and start sucking it in like it's never going to exist again?
Yeah, absolutely enjoying it right now, especially right now, because I had a few finishing touches to be done in Germany in the studio, so on the album. So yeah, I'm absolutely enjoying it to be here now and enjoying some sun. So that's great. Yeah.
Nice. So what has brought around this sort of dramatic upturn, I think, that everyone's talking about with the latest single? It's like Roused has suddenly, changed your whole path in some ways.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I had the inner urge in a way to go in a different direction, because I had the feeling I want to spread some positivity, which like you said in your intro, I basically never did, because I was always a big fan of sad music. But then with my last album I did for Deutsche Grammaphon, the classical one, where I was reworking Beethoven and other great composers. It was very ambient. It was very strong piece of work in the way, and I kind of felt some lightness in myself after this. So I really wanted to express this and give this a go and just embrace this feeling. And there was no plan to do an album. Basically, it was just like it felt like a beginning again, and I just give it a try, and I was just making music, and everything felt more light, and it was coming out of me quite quickly here and there, and it was like a natural progress in a way.
Why do you think working on the Shellac recordings kind of gave you this feeling of lightness? Like, what did it kind of bring out in you? Obviously, you're a classically trained musician and composer. What was it that perhaps was reignited through composing and remixing those works?
Yeah, I mean, it was like a full circle in a way, because I was aiming to combine electronic and traditional or classical sounds for a long time. I remember the first time I played with a string ensemble was in 2015 or 16 in Berlin. And from there, I was always aiming to do something like this and to evolve my music in this, and like to make it work also on a level where people come to a more traditional concert house and they enjoy electronic music and as well like a classical part. And and with this album, I mean, it was a full album release, a tour. We played festivals, we played concert shows in the Philharmonie in Paris, in Berlin in the Philharmonie, and several great shows, and it felt like a full thing, like it was completed in a way. So I was at some point where I felt like, okay, I want to go somewhere else now, or let's see, I don't know. I don't have any plan actually. Yeah.
I think it's interesting because obviously, you know, if that is your background to work on that kind of music, perhaps that, you know, brought out more of a full feeling in, you know, the things that you're capable of. I mean, that's no mean feat to say, okay, I'm going to take that on and try and remix Bach, Chopin, you know, all those kinds of artists into modern day music. That's what made you say yes to that?
I mean, at first it was a great honor to get a request from Deutsche Grammaphon. I was like, oh wow, that's a great honor. And then I was like, of course I'm gonna do it. Why would you say no? And then they were sending over the material, and it was like 100 pieces of music, and some of them were like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. And I was like, okay, maybe it was not the best idea to do it because it was just overwhelming. And I realized, okay, I'm not listening to classical music, basically. I mean, here and there, like neoclassical, of course. I'm a fan of several artists doing this kind of music right now, but I never sit at home and listen to Beethoven, or to be honest. So, of course, I knew the big themes and everything, but apart from that, everything was new to me. And I was like, this is overwhelming. And I was, like I said, maybe it was not the best idea to do it. And then I need to find a strategy how to make it work. And I found a strategy, and I kind of took it randomly. I was just listening to all this music on random follow or on random order, and I was just trying to recognize moments that catch my attention and that maybe could fit with my musical world, or something that attracts me in a way, and where I think, okay, I can add something, I can make this work for myself, like I can make something out of this, something that makes also sense for me as an artist to like to create something that actually stands for itself and is not just a copy or something.
Was it also because it was at the start of the pandemic and you just had some time to spare?
That was also a big part of it. Because it was just when the pandemic started. I just finished the album Löffler and was about to go on tour with that, and then everything stopped, and it was a few days in between when the booking agency called me, like, we have to move the tour 3 months apart. And 3 months, that's long. In the end it was 2 years, but I had a lot of time, so it was actually a good timing.
When you sit down with such a complete work like that, as you said, you're feeling a bit overwhelmed, as I'm sure, you know, it's not the first time when you've got such a big plan in mind. Like, what's your coping strategy? Where do you begin? Is it just like little bite-sized chunks, or how does the process start?
I mean, this came out of it was basically just me listening to the music all the time. So I put it on my phone, I put it on the computer in the studio, and everywhere where I went, like usually I listen to podcasts. I just keep on, let something play through all the time. So then I was just this music, and every time I heard something, I was pulling out my phone. I was checking the piece and the moment, and I was taking a note of this, and then I was going to the studio and I was putting this exact part in my program in my computer, and I was playing with the piano a little bit on side, maybe find some melodies or something that can extend this moment. And I was just finding moments that could work for me step by step, basically.
Interesting. That is definitely how I also edit some things. I put it on my phone as well, and I go out walking and start time coding all the different chunks.
It really helps if you don't sit in the studio and you're totally focused on it. It can be very overwhelming, and if you're too focused, you don't recognize the right moments, maybe just by accident. Sometimes that helps.
Interesting. So why are you such a fan of sad music?
That's a good question that I never I never discovered the real answer for that. But I mean, that's something that's actually a pretty good question. It was just more appealing to me every time. Also as a teenager, I remember I mean, I was also a big fan of melodic things, and we were listening with my best friend back then. We were listening to a lot of guitar music, instrumental guitar music, like Steve Vai or Joey Satriani, was just like long songs playing solo guitar all the time. And then I was more into the very, very melodic things, and I don't know, it's like it's just more appealing to me. Also in movies, like I can't really stand watching sad, depressive movies, but it's more appealing to me aesthetic wise, or also soundtrack wise. They are always better, for my opinion. And yeah, it's just something that's there, basically, I guess. Yeah.
Was that a form of self-expression, though, to kind of master the art of being, you know, conveying your emotions through music?
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to find a way to express myself, because I remember as a teenager I had the feeling I saw something, let's say, like, or a book or a movie or something like that really attracted me, and that made something that inspired me, basically. But back then I didn't realize that this is inspiration or anything like that. So I felt like I had this kind of state of mind from this, and then I just sat down and started drawing or doing collage things. I remember just pulling out some pictures out of magazines and then setting things up and stuff. That was the first things I did, I remember. And then at some point I was a big nerdy computer guy at that time. I was really into this kind of stuff, and then I got in touch with a music software for the first time. And I realized, okay, you can actually make music here. I was not a fan of electronic music back then, but it was, I was also very lazy. So I never tried to learn an instrument or something like that, but I realized, okay, I can actually make music here. And it seems pretty easy. You just use the mouse and then put this and here, there. So I was just trying to figure out to make sounds, basically, and then songs in a way. So I went from there. But also on the side I was painting, so I tried to find my ways to express this feelings or whatever.
Beautiful. I think, well, obviously you're into art, and I think the two things go hand in hand to a degree, in the fact that you kind of started with, you know, the more physical form of the artistic expression and moved into the kind of more subtle formats of obviously, you know, classical composition. But what music, you know, what was the first instrument that you learned how to use then?
Well, the first instrument was keyboard and mouse on the computer. And I remember the first songs I just made by clicking with the mouse, just drawing the notes. And then I got my first little computer keyboard, which was connected to the computer, so I was able to play like a sampled piano or something like that. And from there I bought a real guitar, and at some point I bought a real piano, and since then piano is basically my main instrument to find melodies or ideas, because it just works for me. It's just a nice, clear, natural sound, and it's quiet, and you can put a lot of expression in also in the more quiet notes, and find good things in between. It just works for me.
What kind of piano have you got now, and whereabouts in your home is it?
Oh, that's in the living room. It's just a very basic, upright, trashy thing. It's nothing fancy.
No grand pianos in your house?
Yes, the white grand piano.
Nice. I'd love to see that. I think, I was always surprised by somebody who was sort of saying that they were forklift trucking a piano into their home not so long ago. She was just telling me the story of like dismantling it and getting it in, and it sounded interesting. So I was like quite intrigued. Or you see those, old black and white movies of these guys like pumping these pianos up the stairs. So I just wondered, just out of interest, thought it was quite intriguing. In terms of, you've had some incredible guest vocalists on your singles, and obviously, the latest single with Malou. How did you write that specifically for her, or did she write the lyrics for that?
Oh, she wrote the lyrics for that specific song, and she got in touch with me. She was actually asking me to work on something together, and then I was like, okay, I have this piece which was an instrumental before and was also planned to release as an instrumental, but I sent it to her, and she immediately came back after 1 day or so, and it was great. It was already there. I was like, oh wow, that's it. We don't need to do anything. We just need to record, because she was just using the phone, just recording a few ideas and sent it to me, and I was like, wow, that's the song. And we also have another one on the album that was the same. She was just sending it right back, and I was like, wow, it's done.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, it's always like I choose my feature artist, or they choose me, and then it's just by it has to feel natural in a way. It's not about it's not so much about the voice or the sound of the voice. I think it's more like a personal appeal or a personal feeling that I have that could fit together. Yeah.
So who was it that made it more rousing? Was it you or her?
Yeah, absolutely.
Who started it?
Probably.
Which came first, the chicken or the egg?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Well, I really love that single, I have to say.
Thank you.
And it's epic. And
Thanks so much.
yeah, it feels really uplifting and new, and
Yeah.
Are you gonna be playing that in your live set tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I immediately started playing it live when I got it. I play it for half a year now already, and every time I got very good reactions on this. So that's always a good sign, I would say.
For sure.
So yeah.
And you've obviously worked with Mowgli recently.
Yeah.
And you're obviously going to be doing some more
Which is
stuff
also
with her.
a great artist. Yeah, I also been on tour with her this year, beginning of the year, which was great because she has it's a great presence on stage, and she has also she kind of calmed me down with these new shows, with the new music, and was a great. It was fun to play together, and was a great experience. And she's a great artist. Yeah.
You've got another song together that's coming out on the album.
Yes. Yeah, it's named Portals, and if I remember correctly, she was in Bali or Indonesia back then doing some. Yeah, she was off for a few months, and I was just sending her some music, and she was also. It was very basic, the ideas, the sketches I sent her, and she was also coming back with this voice memo recordings, which were amazing from the beginning. I was, wow, that sounds so cool. It's great. You can really feel the ocean in the background, and it was just it was great.
Do you like that kind of idea of working remotely in the way that we've all kind of, I guess, become accustomed to over the last few years?
That works great for me. I always did it like this. Also with my former collaborators, or maybe we're still friends. We're definitely gonna do something again in the future. Mona, we were also just exchanging ideas by email or whatever, and I find it's good because for me it's like I can't really tell a specific time or certain time when I feel creative or when I want to work on something. So if I have the recordings or the ideas I wanna work on, and then just find my time, it works much better than like having a specific time in the studio, and then now we're here, we're recording this, and then we're recording that. Usually this kind of stresses me, and it never really worked for me. So this kind of thing, like sending it forth and back, no pressure, take your time, maybe in 2 days, maybe in 3 days, it works much better for me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Why does that stress you out? Just the pressure of being in the physical presence of somebody and having to get it right in the moment, or?
Yeah, also maybe it's also the part of being in a professional environment, because I always been a bedroom producer, and most of my music is made on the laptop, just on wherever, on the bed, on the couch, on the beach, in the cafe or something like that. That just works for me, and I'm just feeling the moment in a way, and when I feel inspired I just start working on something. So it works much better than having a full studio and just being there from 8 to 9 or something like that, or in the night or something like that. That's just how it works for me.
Have you had some traumatizing professional experiences?
No, not really traumatizing, but I had some sessions with musicians here and there, and we were trying things, and also with friends, and we rented a fancy studio, and we have all the stuff here now, and we have to make something out of this, but that doesn't work.
Because you're just not inspired in the moment.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, and then there's the pressure. You pay for it. You have all the great stuff. I don't know how to use it, but it's so great. I have to use it in a way. So that's
all the gear and no idea.
Yeah, right. And then you come back home, you just have the laptop. Okay, this actually sounds good. Yeah.
Save on the budget. Definitely don't blow the budget. It's
absolutely.
Not worth it.
No, it's not about the fancy things. I was always aiming for, as a teenager, for the most expensive synthesizers and all this stuff. I mean, it's fun to play around. It's nice. It looks good and stuff, but it doesn't have with creativity. That's for sure.
Interesting. Yeah. So, what's your go-to, instrument in your live set at the moment? What's going to be, the focus for the new album?
So, since the new album is very electronic, I'm really focusing on electronic sounds. So it's basically 2 synthesizers I use on stage, controllers for Ableton Live for the computer, and a drum machine for all the drum sounds. So it's a very simple setup, but it's effective in a way. So I can basically do anything on stage, aligned with my music. So it's a great setup, but it's handy, and it's hand luggage, so it works touring wise as well. Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of logistics to think about when you're producing something.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's not just a case of knocking something together.
It's also part of it, because at some point you have to think about how would I perform this on stage, and if you use all this crazy gear, this synth here, this synth there, there's no chance to do it on stage. So that's why I try to focus on just a few machines, and then I can take them on stage and do it live. I mean, not everything, but the key moments, and it's there. So, yeah, it's much more fun for me, and it's more interesting for the people, I would say.
Yeah, I saw Stimming actually unveiled his new record here in Ibiza recently, and I know that he's been on your Key Records label in the past, and he had a very small selection.
But he's the master when it comes to this. That's
incredible.
Crazy.
I mean, that could have fit in my handbag what he was using.
Yeah, and every time I see him, he's having another crazy tour gadget. Yeah. He's haven't been using a computer on stage for years now, and it's crazy how he's doing it. I don't know. I don't know how it works, but it sounds great, and he has all these little tools, and he can twist anything, and it sounds so great. Wow. And yeah, he's one of a kind when it comes to this. I don't know any other live act that is so good when it comes to this, it's a real electronic live, and you have a few ones out there.
Yeah.
I
mean, we were talking about Elderberry, actually, his new record, and like the fact that he kind of recorded a bicycle going into like a bicycle rack, and then elaborated on that, and it grew into something a lot bigger. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I've met some nerds in my time, but that was next level.
yeah, he can make anything out of anything, great things.
Quite impressive. I think that brings us on to this idea of, AI and like technology developing. I mean, how do you see that potentially playing out in your future development of music?
Since I'm a very lazy person, I'm looking forward to more AI. I'm also doing like the designs and the graphic things for Instagram, and I always do it by myself. And I'm using a lot of AI tools now. It's just very helpful, but not in the music yet. I mean, of course, it's like how you name it. I mean, it's already been there, but now it's named AI. But software always has been very helpful, and I mean, it's always been there, but now it's it feels like another step for sure. But yeah, I mean, you have to find your way, and I think you need to find your good things, take the good things out of just for yourself, probably, to give a positive feedback on this topic. Because it can be very depressing if you just see it on on the dangerous or kind of frightening side. Yeah.
What's the number one hack you found thus far?
Oh, that's for the graphic things like Photoshop, like press photos. You can add like, I want to add another sweatshirt, or I want to have a Fisher hat, or let me put this fancy ring or something like that. Or it just works like that now, and it's still the beginning. I mean, here and there it's a little bit glitchy and buggy, but it's already there.
You just want to add some bling.
Yes,
Looking a little bit more fly.
Yeah, I was just taking some new press photos with a black T-shirt, and then I was putting on different outfits and was sending it to Paul, who's also running Key Records, and he was messaging back, "What are these clothes? Where did you buy it?"
Cost me millions.
Yes. So much fun.
That guy must be making a lot of money. Yeah. Key Records is going well, obviously, there. Yeah. How is it going with the label? I mean, you've been running it, 2009 you launched it?
Yeah. Out of nothing. It was just like a stupid idea, basically. We just, why not? We just started a record label. Paul, at this point we were still in school. No, we were already at university, but he had a job and he had some money to spend. So we were like, okay, let's do some vinyl. Let's start a label. We had some connections here and there in Cologne with a friend running parties there. He was closely with Compact, so they were also helping us a little bit. So we just started from there, and I mean, it's an indie label, but we still have the passion for the music, and it's just fun to release music and work on new things, and and curate your own kind of selection process, or
right? The people you want to give a little leg up to, or
absolutely.
I mean, is that the priority? Do you think, or is it because you want to have more kind of control over your own releases?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always interested in new music. I'm always discovering, and I mean, I'm not a DJ, but I'm still like looking for new music every day, and not every day, but almost every day. But and then here and there, I find great artists that could be a good fit for the label as well. And then it's just like Faker, who's also releasing on Key Records. I found him on SoundCloud, and
I'm in love with Faker.
Yeah.
It's just
good stuff.
I literally only found him today when I was looking at your website.
Oh my
God, this guy's incredible.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah.
Big fan.
Nice.
Very interesting. Like, who else have you found that you would sort of, was a surprise, perhaps just from browsing around?
Yeah. You can't really tell what's out there. Sometimes you find good stuff.
What does it mean to be like a record label boss? I know that you've got the bling now, so it must be important to you to a degree.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not doing the numbers works and stuff. So I'm just doing the fun parts, like choosing music and choosing artworks maybe here and there and this kind of stuff. So Paul is doing the main job, like organizing things and all these emails and stuff. There's a lot of things, but it's still an indie label. It's kind of small, so it's you can handle it. It's not too crazy, and we keep it really low key. Not many releases because it's just for passion in a way. We just do it for fun. Of course, he's mostly making a living from that, but it's not about making crazy money or something like that. Yeah.
What's the future of that? I mean, how do you see that evolving? Like, would you like to, is there anything specific that you would like to develop with the artists that you have, or?
Yeah, develop with the artists that we have, but we are always looking for a new artist, and I mean, it's not like a very specific plan or so. It's more like we started, or how we went on, and I think it's more about finding new good artists here and there, and maybe start something and build it from there. So we also have a new artist on the label. He's going to release his debut album. He's called Holly North, and he's just a young guy from the same area where we live, and it's very, it's kind of outstanding in a way, because he has a very, he's not caring much about stereotypes in music or this kind of, you can tell from the arrangement, or it's made for Spotify algorithm or this kind of things. He just does music, he just puts it out, and it's kind of, it's just interesting. So this kind of stuff is appealing to us.
Do you think it's become harder to make money from actually making good music, like in the way that the world exists now, digitally and with Spotify and everything else?
Yeah, you have to find your way, but I guess it used to be easier before we started. I think when we started it's basically the same, I would say. I mean, in 2012 there was a lot of, you could even sell CDs still, but was not too crazy, and then vinyl was big, but now it's basically only Spotify, but you find your outlets, like YouTube is working well. It's more like, it's more like an influencer thing in a way now. You have so much social media, it's basically just social media in a way. So you have to be present everywhere, and it depends on your personality, I would say, if it's more complicated or not, more difficult. If you enjoy this kind of stuff, it's great. But if it's like doing this kind of social media things, if it's annoying for you, it's definitely much more difficult.
How do you feel about it then?
I mean, for me it's fun. I like it, I enjoy it. But I've always been like, I mean, I've been with MySpace when it started, and then switching over to Facebook, and I always been there. I'm not really into the TikTok game, so I can't really, I do it, but I can't really, I'm not successful at it.
Do you do the dancing videos?
No. It is basically about dancing, right? That's why my videos are not working.
And you're not good at that?
Not good. Not
okay.
good.
So you're good at making music, but you're not good at dancing?
Not at all.
Do you still go clubbing? Do you go out and dance?
No.
That was clear.
The funny thing is, I just read an interview. It was an old interview. I don't remember the name, but it was like, a good DJ has to be a good dancer, and I always have to think about this sentence, and it makes sense in a way. And then every time I'm performing, and I think like, okay, this was maybe an awkward dance move right now. I think maybe I'm not a good, but I'm not a DJ, so.
Well, that's handy.
Yeah. No, but since I'm playing a lot, this year was really a lot. It was like a big schedule, and I was playing almost every weekend. And I enjoy seeing festivals here and there, and stay a little bit longer. And if friends are playing, I just enjoy the music. I was touring with Para Fukuva lately, and we were in Mexico as well at the festival. And I think I was dancing for the full set. And after the set, I was going. I don't know. I can't remember when I actually did this the last time. It's a great honor for you.
Is that why you made the classical album, just to tap out of the dancing and the DJ?
Right, probably.
So what do you do when you're doing a live set? You don't jump around?
Not jumping around, no. It's the elegant way I do it.
The Berlin minimalist.
Probably.
Shuffleboard change.
Probably, yeah. I mean, it's funny. I never really been into clubbing in itself. But I was always interested in the culture, or the thing behind it. And I loved electronic music, and I still love it. The whole scene and how it works, and the people, and I admire the dancers that are there for 3 days, and they still have the power and the passion. Obviously that drugs are involved, but still you have to have this passion to do this. Nobody forces you. And I definitely admire this, and it's a great culture, that's for sure. And it's a lot of energy out there, and I'm just kind of soaking it up in a way to enjoy this a lot. Yeah,
it's quite fascinating because of you know, the Instagram game, as you just pointed out. I can't remember the name of him. There's this guy that I do actually really love his music.
Yeah.
But he's doing like a full-on dance routine whilst he's DJing.
Oh, really?
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if he's German or not. I can't remember, and I can't think of his name for the life of me. But every time he's obviously not got a top on, he's ripped to shreds, but he's got this incredible body.
Nice.
And he's an actual proper dancer,
Yeah.
as well as being a very good DJ. But I'm like, that looks exhausting.
Wow, yeah.
It's really tiring as well.
That's
And
another
he's doing
level.
That for like 3 or 4
Yeah,
hours.
yeah.
It's I've never seen anything like that before.
That's
I
like
mean,
a
he's got a lot of followers.
Crazy workout.
Definitely.
At that time of the night, especially.
Well, indeed. But
Yeah.
I just find, it's interesting, isn't it, when you become a DJ and you feel like all eyes are on you. Like, well, what are you, It feels like you have to be upping your game constantly to keep people's energy high on the dance floor.
Yeah.
Obviously, the music's got to be good, but it feels like there has to be more than just one element that is entertaining people.
Right, yeah.
And I think that's a bit sad in a way.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's kind of, I was always trying to get a connection with the people, obviously with the music, but also with the presence in a way, but I'm not making any crazy dance moves, but it's more like it's difficult to say. Maybe it's a spiritual thing or something like that. It's all about the energy, and when people are giving back and I give back to them, it's like, that's one of the best moments when I play. And it's not every time, obviously, but sometimes it happens, and then it's the best show.
So what's the plan with Alive? I guess you're going to take that on the road this year.
Yeah.
And this is 2024 now that we're catching up. And I feel like, what do you want to do with that record? Are you going to like bring some of those guest vocalists in to do the dancing for you?
Yeah.
Or what's the plan?
Definitely. Yeah. So Malou is joining me on the tour, which is the first part of the first leg of the tour is going to be in May in Europe. And we have a US tour planned for later on for summer. And then, Malou is joining me on stage, and Henry Green will also be on the album, and Mowgli will also join me for a few shows. So it's definitely about the live vocals, but then also like all the new songs, and I'm gonna play it live. And we have a friend of mine. I'm working closely with her for years now. She's a photographer from Oslo, and we were actually making videos for all the songs. So it's gonna be like a visual show alongside the album during the live performance, and to give it a full thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
It sounds like the rest of the album then is a little bit more high energy than anything you've produced previously. I haven't heard it yet.
Yeah.
Or not all of it.
It is. Yeah. On my specific level. Yeah. Frequency. Not too crazy, but for myself, I think it's the album with the highest energy level so far.
Do you think that this is because you're heading towards the naughty 40s that this has happened to you?
Oh my God. I'm just counting downwards now.
It's
but
imminent.
maybe yes, maybe it's part of it. Yeah.
You just want to, hit those noughts.
I'm really feeling this midlife crisis vibes lately. Maybe I need to buy a Porsche or something like that.
I mean, why not?
Sure, right? Move to Ibiza, buy a Porsche.
We would welcome you with open arms. You'd fit right in, I'm sure.
Train some dance moves for TikTok.
Learn to dance.
Yeah.
Perfect.
A new life.
I mean, you say you haven't visited Ibiza too much. Like, what do you make of the whole dance music scene here?
It's crazy because every time I come here, I see all the big banners and stuff on the billboards, and it's like everything is condensed. It's funny to see how this industry just focuses on this island for the summer so much, and you can actually play a role or be in the same, or maybe I'm not in the same industry actually, but I have the feeling I am, but I'm never really connecting with this somehow. So maybe it's really interesting. It's really interesting and fascinating. and I wanna witness the craziness in summer definitely next year.
You've never been here in summer?
I've been, but or maybe it was end of the season already. I can't really remember. It was 2017 or 18. I played here, and was like I think it was hard Ibiza back then.
Yeah.
It was a good party, but it was not like the crazy big ones. Obviously, that's probably a very different vibe. I know from France, but yeah, definitely fascinating.
So where would you say that you see your album naturally fitting? If there was a venue, a place, a city, like where's its natural habitat?
I think it's made for festivals, basically outdoor festivals, because last summer when I made the album, I was playing a lot of festivals, also in Germany, Ireland, UK, Spain, France, and also Italy, and all been like closing sets, nice stages, also Fusion Festival, and it was about. I feel like this is the vibe in a way. Like, it's not super crazy, full on, but still high energy, and everybody wants to, give it a good ending in a way. So this is pretty much the vibe, I would say.
And where did you make the record?
Oh,
Cafes,
here and there.
beaches.
Yes, all in between. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So interesting that people think they have to spend all this money and bunker down or hunker down somewhere.
Yeah, that's really. If somebody asked me, that's really an advice I would give, because the first music I made was also just on a computer, and now I bought so much stuff in between, sold it or was too lazy to sell it. It's still there somewhere in the corner, and now I just came back to computer basically, and it's so refreshing in a way and easy, and it just works for me. And kind of, you don't really need to spend all this crazy money on this vintage gear. Because it's so easy to get lost in there, like setting up things, and it doesn't work and it doesn't sound great, and then you have to add this and this and that, and then you get a perfect sound, but this sound is not making any music. It's not a song or something like that. It sounds great and it's cool and looks great, and it has this vintage feel, and everything is made original, analog kind of thing, but there's no piece of art coming out in a way. It's just a sound.
It's so interesting. I think sometimes less is just more. And
many times, I guess.
Buying all these fancy bits of kit.
True.
Maybe not necessary. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a musician.
It depends probably. But for me, it definitely helps to have a smaller setup.
Interesting. So this is coming out in April.
Yes.
And then the tour is going to kick off.
Yes.
And you're going to end the year on a bang.
Right.
Let's hope so. Then you're going to come to Ibiza and
that's it.
Learn your dance moves, and that'll be it.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you come and see us this summer.
Yeah.
And that
I would love to. Yeah.
the release goes well.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Grateful that you would make time to be on the Beat Walla with us. And
thank you.
I wish you every success with the new record.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.